Hey guys, it's Lynx1361. Brand new from Qore, December edition. Forgot the number, but it's the most recent one, 2010. And I think it's the second to last one that I'm going to get before my subscription expires, and I have to get PlayStation Plus on January. But anyway, in this Qore we have Need for Speed, LittleBigPlanet, Bulletstorm, and another game that slips my mind right now, but it's a two-part video. The second part, like 4 minutes left into it. You'll see the first part, that's the second part video at the end of this video. But yeah, make sure you go watch the second part, because you won't know what's the rest of the video about. So in Qore, as you know or may not know, it's just a bunch of videos about games that haven't come out yet and tells you about the games. Or like Need for Speed came out before, but it tells you about it. It tells you about how the game works and how it's created. Showed you some screenshots, and it's pretty cool. And last time I did a Qore video, got a couple hundred views for each part, and only got like 2 subscribers from it. And it's like I got a couple hundred views and only 2 subscribers. That's kind of weird. I only have 19 subscribers, and I need more. So I decided, why not put these videos up? It'll really help. And make sure you subscribe, because I don't know if you guys like it if you don't subscribe. So subscribe, so I know you like it, and so I can make more, and so you'll see that I make more when you subscribe. And you can comment too. I like those. But anyway, if you guys want to watch this whole video, you can go to my channel, or if there's a link there, you can just watch the video in parts. Watch the game video that you want to see. You don't have to go through this whole video and watch it. You can just watch the video that you want to see. So you can do that too. Either way, thanks for watching this video, guys. Make sure you subscribe so I can make more, and I know you guys like it. And enjoy the video.
There have been a lot of excellent first-person shooters to hit the PS3 this year, most of which feature gritty, hyper-realistic battle situations meant to make the player feel like they're in the middle of a deadly war zone. But what I want to know is, where are all the space pirates? Bulletstorm, by Polish developer People Can Fly, alongside Epic Games, is a shooter that puts the wild, crazy fun back into a genre that has become a little too serious of late.
That is disgusting.
So tell us about the backstory of the game.
He was part of this confederation, right? He was playing these hit jobs, and then something happens at the beginning of the game where kind of the crap hits the fan, and he winds up essentially exiled from them. He winds up kind of the edge of space. One thing leads to another, and somehow he and his buddies wind up crash landing on this alien planet that's filled with all sorts of nasty mutants, all sorts of horrible indigenous wildlife, and all sorts of crazy weapons.
Now, I know you mentioned that the weapons are way over the top. What are some of your personal favorites?
Well, the guys People Can Fly had this 4-barrel shotgun that just sends enemies flying everywhere. And, you know, I kind of cut them in half, and you get a cool skill shot for that. There's a weapon called the Bouncer that launches kind of a giant cannonball, but then you can unleash it. They just have to repeatedly hit in one location. They can kick guys into that. There's a gun that shoots 100 bullets at once, and if you like line up your enemies, you can kind of get a kebab, you kind of kill them and get multiple skill shots with that, skill points. It's really a ton of fun. Some of the most unique weapons you've seen since the original Unreal Tournament.
Tell me more about the skill shots. I know those are a big component of the game.
Well, I mean, when you look at your average gamer when they play a game, they're just going for the path of least resistance. They're like, how can I kill this enemy as quickly as possible? In Bulletstorm, we encourage you to really play with the enemies, kind of like a cat would play with a mouse before it takes it out, right? So if I see an enemy, I'm like, oh, that's a point farm. I want to knock him up in the air, I want to kick him around, I want to take him out, get a trap shooting score, and basically take those points and spend them on more cool stuff.
One of my favorite things about the game is the writing. It is absolutely hilarious.
Last straight out of Explosion Town. What are you doing, fatty? Eating a bullet?
How did they decide to go that route with the game dialogue?
It's this guy named Rick Remender, and he's completely insane. He wrote this great series called Fury, and we were talking to all sorts of different writers, and when reading his style, it's just this great, pulpy stuff.
What exactly am I looking at here?
Whatever it is, your buddy's inside it.
No, his signal's coming from below.
Probably already him out.
Quit cheering me up and shoot it.
I mean, you're going to see this stuff quoted on forums for years to come.
Now, I know you guys are really known for the Unreal Engine, but People Can Fly had their own engine previously. Why did they decide that the Unreal Engine was the right way to go?
Yeah, People Can Fly had a certain amount of success with their engine. They did that great game, Painkiller. But we're at the point where it's 2010, and in order to develop a game, you need a set of tools that allows you to be ruthlessly efficient. And that's what Unreal Engine allows us to do. They did a great job on Gears of War PC. see. We worked on some other things, and then finally realized, like, hey, let's craft a new IP. You guys, let's see what you want to do. Let's see what makes the most sense, and let's see what's fun, and have a blast with it.
Problem solved!
Now, is there going to be a multiplayer or a co-op aspect to the game?
There's not going to be a versus. What we're going to have is a mode that we're calling Anarchy mode. It's a 4-player cooperative mode. A lot of people want to initially draw that kind of analogy to Gears of War's photo mode. It's really not the same thing. In fact, you're not trying to just survive. What you're trying to do is get to a certain point where you get to a certain score. And the way you do that is by cooperating with your buddies. If you kick them in the air and then I kick them to finish them off, then we get extra points. So we really encourage cooperative playing with your enemies in order to get nice scores, in order to kind of get past the game to get to the next level.
What's Echo mode?
So Echo mode is a way that you can play the game where you take kind of the best little snippets and the best combat sections from the campaign and play it as fast as you can to kind of get the best points that you can, and then play against your buddies, but kind of in an asynchronous way. So if you play the game like, on a Friday afternoon at, 5 o'clock and you get a certain score in the section, I log on that Saturday and I can see that you beat my score. And then I actually get notified that you beat my score. So I go online and it's like, oh, look, you're doing better than I did. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go in that mode, I'm going to beat your score. And then you have this great game of one-upmanship amongst your friends.
What would you say were some of the biggest challenges in making this game?
God, the biggest challenge with this game, I think, was kind of getting to the point where we could develop an IP that was fun, something that was pulpy, but wasn't really over the line, right? There's really a fine line there. If you look at where all the state of shooters are right now, it's this very serious, war never changes. War has changed. It's like, you kind of put a montage of all these military shooters together and maybe you'll recognize them. They're great games, but at the same time, they take themselves so seriously. Bulletstorm's just like, screw that. Let's just put a big boot in people's face. Let's have crazy lines of dialogue, insane enemies, over-the-top weapons. Just put the fun back in the first-person shooter. I just think it's hands down one of the most fun games I've played in years. And every time we go on a playtest, we're always hooting and holler and figure out all these great things we can do. I'm really looking forward to the gamers getting hands on with it.
With the biggest, most over-the-top weapons,
This place just keeps getting better!
alongside dialogue that will have you cracking up while you rack up the points shooting someone's head off, Bulletstorm is one of the most colorful and fun games we've laid our hands on in a while. And with the Cliffy B seal of approval, it's bound to be an ass kicker. With over 3 million levels already created by users in the LittleBigPlanet universe, LittleBigPlanet has established itself as the creative tour de force in the PlayStation world. LittleBigPlanet 2 takes things to the next level, with all new tools, characters, and the ability to use LBP as a platform for building games of your own. Join us as we travel to a little planet where big things can happen. Planet 2, things quickly take a turn for the sucky, as an evil vacuum creature called the Negativitron is trying to engulf all of Craft World into his gaping maw. As you're struggling to get away from the Negativitron, you're suddenly rescued by a familiar face. You learn that in order to save the world, you must join up with Da Vinci and the Alliance, a consortium of secret members trying to preserve their creative way of life. Can you and the Alliance stop the Negativitron before it's too late? You'll need to go through some rigorous training first, and this is a great way to learn some of the new tools and tricks in LittleBigPlanet 2. One of our favorites are the bounce pads. Whenever you see one of these on the ground, or on a wall, the ceiling, etc., you know that you're in for some awesome aerial action. And it won't take long before you figure out how to use them to quickly reach high-altitude spots in the levels. Once you've mastered the bounce pads, it's on to the grappling hook. This little gadget is the best way to swing through levels, grab onto hard-to-reach objects, and wrangle up some stack bots. While still keeping the original additional user-created levels compatible with LittleBigPlanet 2, Media Molecule has added some great new bells and whistles that will make level building even more fun and cinematic. You can now add some pretty epic cutscenes into your levels, giving them transitions, dramatic camera angles, and you can even build your own stackbots to round out the supporting cast. These intelligent creations can be programmed in many ways, to be frightened, to blindly follow you, or to be a little more sinister. You can even copy and paste them to make an entire army of sackbots ready to do your bidding. The Creatinator is a fast new way to load the level with objects in quick succession. Just put on the helmet, decide which object you want as ammo, and fire away. We're a bit partial to shooting cows from our head, but it's really up to you. And if you happen to come across one of these babies during gameplay, well, the possibilities are endless. The music sequencer and circuit boards are two new ways of automating actions and events in your levels. With the sequencer, you can use music to trigger any event in your level, or even make your own music video. And if you've ever seen the guts of some of the more complicated levels, like that giant calculator for example, you know how many wires and switches it takes to make something like that work. Now with circuit boards, you can program actions into all sorts of objects without actually feeling like you're programming a computer in your free time. Circuit boards also make programming vehicles a snap. You can assign a car or a flying balloon specific behaviors, and then control the vehicle as you like. This direct control vehicle can be an entirely new character in your saga. Don't limit yourself to just level creating either. This is a game-making platform within a game. Create a shooter, a fast-paced racing game, or an arcade-style minigame to rack up the points. The potential for these minigames is just staggering. In a short amount of time since LBP2 opened up their beta, users have already taken advantage of the creative tools to make games that can stand on their own. So, when you need a little break from Qore's adorable face, just switch him out for a fighter jet or a giant Gundam suit. For those moments when a sackbot just isn't enough to keep you company, jump into a multiplayer game and explore every nook and cranny of a level, using some good old-fashioned teamwork. Finding and sharing new user-gen levels has never been easier, since the team at Media Molecule have totally revamped their in-game search system. You'll also be able to share your stats and levels with your friends at an all-new web portal, LBP.me. With all the creativity packed into the original LittleBigPlanet, we were fascinated to see how Media Molecule was going to ramp it up for the sequel. While not everyone is going to take the time to learn all those new level and game-building tools, they'll definitely open up a whole new world of endless fun for creators and players alike. Clark begins Dead Space 2 having forgotten his past, but will never forget. Trapped on a cramped mining spaceship, the engineer fought off hordes of disgusting aliens with just his wits and his mining tools. The twisted minds at Visceral Games have continued tormenting poor Isaac, but at least this time he has a view. Unfortunately, the Necromorphs have overrun an entire city, and those terrifying monsters have brought a few new friends.
Esoteric question, but how scary is too scary? Like, when do people just kind of be like, I just really don't want to deal with this right now?
Dead Space 2 is going to be perhaps even more scary than the last one. What we want to do this time is to switch it up a little bit. Now in Dead Space 2, we're going to get a little craftier about it, right? And we're going to sort of lay low for a bit and then come back. we haven't found where too scary is, but we want to sort of include those breaks now and to sort of switch up the action on people so they sort of get a little complacent.
Lull them into a false sense of security.
That's right. What we try to do as much as possible is talk about what makes us scared, like personal space, right? When people are like too close to you, and yeah, right. So we have enemies that sort of get all like up on you, and it's kind of exactly. And you're kind of like, oh, get away. Or